Hi everybody, Diana here. Welcome to this episode of Sew in Common. I'm so happy that you all have joined me for this video. Today's video is a little bit different than what we've been doing. It's not about quilting. It is about embroidery, but it's about a specific thing in embroidery and specifically for folks who own a certain software. So today is really about doing subway art in Dime's Word Art and Stitches software. Now, let me kind of give a little back history on this, or why I'm doing this video. So some of you may know that I am a Dime educator. I'm not getting paid to do this video. No one's asked me to do this video. I'm not getting paid if you buy the software. But in one of the events that I teach for Dime, we talk about subway art, but like for less than a minute. And so we get a lot of questions from folks about how can we see more detail about the subway art. And so I'm doing this video really for all of you folks out there that already have Dime's Word Art and Stitches software, or you might find that you are interested in it after you watch this video, because I can say it's a super great software program. It's their lettering program. And not only are there letters in it, they give you a bunch of fun wizards to make different kinds of art, thus the word art in stitches. And oh my goodness, there's so much stuff you can do. They even give you a whole bunch of little fill stitch embroidery designs to enhance your projects and things. So it's a great software. And if you don't have an embroidery software, off the top of my head, I would say, yes, you absolutely should have an embroidery software. It will really help you in your embroidery, even with all of the designs that you have purchased elsewhere. Software is just really helpful. And Word Art and Stitches is one that I think is kind of that first one that is great for people to get, because you've got so much in it. And it doesn't require you to do any of your own digitizing. It's all button driven. So that's what today is about. But let me just say, if you all enjoy this video or any of my videos, because I have a ton of others on the channel, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. And if you wouldn't mind, I'd super appreciate it if you'd pass this YouTube channel link on to your other stitchy friends. I would really like to build a community here for us all, and so I'd super appreciate that. Now, you can also leave me a message here at the YouTube channel. Lost my words there for a second. I'm having to do my own directing. So, your brain tried to do two things at once. So you can leave me a message right here in the comments. Happy to answer those for you. But if you'd like to leave me a private message, or maybe check out my blog, which is new, so there's not a lot of things there yet, but I'm starting to get articles out there again. I used to write a blog years ago, and I wrote it every day, and my brain hurt from doing it every day. So now I'm starting to do one again. I'm going to try and do maybe an article a week for y'all. So you can check that out at my website as well. But if you want to send me a private message, you can do so at my website. That would be perfectly fine. And I will be happy to get back to you and answer your questions. So if you already have Word Art and Stitches, maybe you want to open it up right now, and maybe you want to follow along. You can take notes. This will always be on my YouTube channel. So if you want to rewatch it, you can rewatch it as often as you like. So let me share my screen with you. And let's go into the web for a moment. If you're interested in the Word Art and Stitches software, because you can also do that great bubble text art in here. I love this, so much fun. I will be doing another video similar to this one on bubble art, so you can stay tuned for that one. But just go to shop.dzgns.com, software, and then you can see them. Now, yes, software is a little bit of a considered purchase, but folks, let me tell you, you gain the value in that almost immediately with the stuff that you can do in it. So in this software, there's like 250 font collections alone. I went out on the web and I looked and I said, okay, what is the least cost for one collection, one font collection? And I saw probably the least expensive was about $6. So I times that by 250, and I think it gives you something like $1,200. So you get so much more than just font collections with this software. So that is an incredible value for software that you will use all the time. I have to say, Word Art and Stitches is one of those software programs that I kind of get lost playing in. I really love it. So it's there if you're interested in it at all. So now let's go into the software itself, because today's video is mostly working in the software, but I'm also going to take you under my camera and show you some samples, and we'll talk about some stabilizer. We'll talk about thread and stuff as well for subway art. That's today's subject, subway art. So here I am in Word Art and Stitches, and if you already own it, you know that these are all the buttons with all the different font collections, your bubble text wizard, your monogram wizard. But right here where it says text designs, this is where all of those little fill stitch designs, those little charms live. And there's tons of them in here. Now you can bring in your own designs too by going to File and Merge, and that will bring up your computer's filing system, and you can go and find any file that you already have and bring that into the software. Really easy to do. But we need to go back in this catalog here, because right under the charms and some other fonts and things that are available is the word Subway. And that's where the Subway art templates reside. There are 9 of them built in that are all completely customizable, because I'm guessing that these names and dates and things probably don't fit your needs, but they have ones in here for baby and family and new couples getting married. They have one in here for hope, for folks maybe going through a difficult time medically or for any other reason. Another one that says I do, one for sport. So if you have folks that play sports in the family, kids or even adults, that could be a fun one. But I'm going to click this I do one and bring it into the workspace. And when your designs, your templates come into the workspace, they come in so you can see all of your stitches, right? But if I highlight it and I come over here to my left-hand side and click this little box that says realistic view, kind of a 3-dimensional box, is kind of giving you now a 3-dimensional view, you can actually see what it's going to look like pretty well when you stitch it out. But here's the great thing about this software is when I highlight it, just highlight the whole thing, and I come right up here to this red box that says ungroup. Look what happens over here. I get a line item for all of the things that are in here. So you can come in here and change names. So I could say Nick here and click apply. And I could, if I wanted, change my fonts by clicking there and looking at all the fonts that I have loaded, because all of the fonts that are in the software are in there. Any fonts that you have with any other Dime software will be there, or any font that you've brought in will be there, and you can choose whatever you like. And then if I click here and I say Amy and click apply, then I can change those names, and I can move Nick's name over, and I can change the date of the wedding. And you see there's no year here, but you can put that in, and this is how easy. Just click here where it says text, click in your work area, and this box comes up, and then just type in your year. Click apply. Now I'm going to set this, and I'm going to make it much, much smaller. And whenever I resize something in this software, the great thing is the software recalculates all my stitches, so I don't have to worry about that. Now I could make that even smaller if I wanted, but I could bring the year of their wedding in like that really easily. So if I want to take away things, I can. If I want to add things, I can. It's all entirely up to me. Let's go under my camera now, and let me show you that exact design. that I stitched out on this little banner. I'm going to talk to you about these banners a little bit later. They are so great for doing subway art on them or for bubble text and stuff, but I'll tell you more about where I found these and stuff in a little while. But here is that I Do template stitched out for Nick and Amy. Nick is actually my nephew, and he and Amy were just married on the 4th of June. So I created this around the announcement of their wedding. It's got a cute little monogram in it and the wedding rings and tie the knot. And I changed all of these colors so that it would just be bright and colorful, all kinds of colors for them. And so you can change all of this if you want to be any colors you want. Maybe you don't want the word promise there, you want something else there. If I had known maybe where they were going to honeymoon, I could maybe instead of saying promise, I could put in their honeymoon destination there or something like that. So you can do all of those kinds of things right in the software itself. So let's go back to the software. When I'm done fixing this however I want it, I'm going to come here and click all items. That's going to highlight everything for me. And then I'm going to come back here again and say group. That's going to make it all one piece again. So now if I move it around, I don't accidentally move things out of place. I could easily go back a step here if I wanted to and easily fix that. But I like to have everything in a group before I save it. And then I come to File, click Save As, and then right here in this box, I'm going to tell it where I want to save my design. I'm going to give my design a name. And this drop-down box, that's where you'll find your machine file format. So if you have a Brother or a Baby Lock or a Bernina or Husqvarna Viking, Janome, you name it. They're all in here, all the popular formats. Plus, they even have some professional formats in there too, which is really cool. And then you just click save, and I typically save once to my software, and then I save again, or to my computer, and then save to my USB stick. And then I'm over to my machine and I'm doing my stitches. So that's how easy it is to change. But I thought today we'd have a little fun with this design. I'm going to ungroup it again. And I thought we'd have a little fun and make our own banner. As embroiderers and stitchers and all, you know, we should maybe have a little piece of subway art for our sewing rooms. Wouldn't that be fun? Let's go back under my camera again, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do today. We're going to do this one right here that says embroidery, sew life beautiful. That's my favorite phrase, folks, because, you know, as stitchers, we're artists. This is an art form, and art, I think, always can make life more beautiful. And as stitchers, all the things we put out into the world really does make it more beautiful. So that's my phrase, and you know it if you watched my videos in the past, because I always tell you that at the end. I brought in some different little designs. I've changed my words around and my colors. So we're actually going to go through the software and create this. So if you want to follow along on your own software, you can do that, or you can take notes. Like I said, come back and rewatch. You'll notice that I left the little XOXO in here because why not? We love our embroidery and sewing, right? But I did this in a Kingstar metallic gold thread. So this is also a great type of piece to play with your threads. So there I have metallic on my little dots. I've used variegated. I used a variegated in this word design. So play with your different threads and really kind of make that exactly what you want. Make it your own. So let's go back now under the or back to the software. So I've ungrouped everything here. Now, this is really easy to switch up. I could hold down my control key and click on all the things I want to get rid of, or I can get rid of things one at a time as I move through it. And I kind of left the template as it is, and I just got rid of things and added things as I went. And that way I kind of kept my shape of my subway art as it is, instead of maybe getting really off shape. So let me show you something right up here. So if I click over here in my sequencing box, you can see all the little things. If I go over the little icon there, I can see better what it says. So I know that's the Nick and Amy line. So I'm going to click that because I don't want Nick and Amy there. I want to put the word embroidery there, but I also want to get rid of this ampersand. So if I hold down my control key and I find that, there we go, that character, see how it lit everything up? Now I can go delete and it goes away and it jumps to somewhere else. And then if I come in here and I say text and click into my workspace, sorry, my computer is a little bit slow today. There we go. And then over here, I can click on my box and I can choose any font that happens to be in my software. Most of these that you're seeing are built into Word Art and Stitches. The purple ones are not. That's another font collection. That's Dime's luxury font collection. But most of these others, because like I said, there's over 250 font collections in here. But actually, I like this particular font, so I'm going to leave it and I'm going to type in the word embroidery and I'm going to click apply and there's my word. Now, I can, through all these little nodes, change things if I want. I can make it convex and concave if I wanted to. That's fun. So now I just put mine straight across, but on my banner, but I kind of like that look. Let's just drag this over now. That's kind of fun, I think. Yeah, I kind of like that. But here's the thing. I don't want it to be in the navy color. So let's talk about changing colors for a second. Down here on the bottom are all these color chips. Now, a lot of these colors are the colors that are in this design already. Over here at this plus sign, if I click on it, do you notice how it's just adding random colors across the color bars at the bottom? Or if I click on this minus button, look what happens. All of the colors went away except for the colors that are in this design. So if you get too many color chips and you're like, oh gosh, I don't remember which ones I've used or whatever, click that minus key or minus button and it'll get rid of all of the colors except the ones you're working with. That can make it easier. However, I don't want that to be navy. I want to make it more of a lavender color. So if I left click on my mouse button, it will bring up the palette. I guess you could call it a palette category if you wanted. And in this little drop-down box, there are all the different thread brands. So I use Exquisite by Dime's 40 weight embroidery thread for this. But if you're a Floriani user, Isacord, Hemingworth Gutermann, King Star, that's the metallic gold that I used, Madeira, all of these are in here. So you can choose your thread collection in here. And then the other thing that you can do, if you know specifically a number that you want of your thread, so your thread has a specific number, if you know that number, you can type it in right there. And look what happened. It brought that color up right there in that bottom box. And when I click, and it brought it to me right there. So if I click OK, it changes that box right there to that color. And because this was highlighted and that was the color button for that particular item, it changed that color for me. However, that isn't the color I want to use. So I'm going to highlight it again. I'm going to leave this 904 in there because I know I'll use it eventually. But let's come back into our palettes. Now, I just chose one of these other buttons and left clicked on it because I want that lavender color I was telling you about. So let's click. That iris is pretty, maybe a little dark. Oh, that tulip is really pretty. Let's click OK there. There it is. Now, because this wasn't this button that I changed, I have to actually change that color now. So while it's highlighted, I go to that new button and I right click on it. And when I right click, look what it does. It changes my color for me. So I like that. And I kind of like that convex idea. Yeah, I think I'll leave that there. So now let's look. What do I want to do next? Well, I left the XO in there and I left this little design in there, but I want to highlight that little design and move it up just a little bit, because by doing that in kind of a rounded shape, I gave myself a little extra room there. So that is helpful. And I'm going to, let's see, let me find over here on the side, I just find my piece that I'm looking for, my line, and I click on it and it'll highlight the whole thing for me. And I can just change that. Now I want to change that to a color, and I'm not really going to see the metallic, so I'm just going to choose a color that kind of represents the color I'm going to use, a gold metallic there. Now, I like this word love, but I don't want to leave it there. I want it to come down here. So we'll work that out in a moment. But see where it says tie the knot? That's where I put sew life beautiful. So let's highlight the word tie, and it opens up my text box again, and put in the word sew and click apply. There I am. Now I'm going to adjust it a little bit. There we go. And let's see, I made this a dark aqua color. So I'm going to actually add some color chips along the bottom randomly. And then I'm going to go in and change them. So you can do that really easily. Let's choose that color. And now I'm going to right click on it, and it's changed my word sew to that color. Now I need life in here. So I'm going to come in here and type in life and click apply. And that one I used this color here, this crocus color. It's kind of almost a Velveeta cheese color to me, but I really like it when it stitches out. Now I'm going to adjust these a little bit. And remember, whenever I adjust or resize, everything is recalculated for the project for me. I don't have to worry about that. But now I'm going to click knot, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say beautiful and click apply. Now that word is pretty big, so I'm going to scrunch it just a little bit. And then I'm going to set it, but I'm going to remove it for a second because I want to highlight that XO, and I want to delete it because I didn't use it in my banner. Now I'm going to highlight beautiful again and bring it right back in here. And what color? Oh, I used kind of a rusty color. It was actually this one right here I used. So let's change our color. Now I know that looks brown, but when it's stitched out, it was kind of more of a deep burgundy color that I used there. So now I know I don't want the wedding rings there. So let's find those. Let's see, there we go. There are wedding rings. Let's delete those. Now I want to bring in a little, there we go. I've got the whole thing gone now. Let's bring in a little design. Now I could bring in a design from my charms collection, and we're going to do that in a moment. But I have some designs built in that I brought in from another area. You can use whatever little designs you want. And I'm going to bring in this little 4-patch right there and put that right there. Now it's a tiny bit big, so I'll just shrink it a little bit. And I left the colors as they are. You can always leave these colors as they are and then change them at your embroidery machine just by choosing whatever thread you want. So now I'm going to come back to my grouping, and I'm going to leave the word promise there. I like that. Or no, in mine I changed that to design. I didn't think I chose promise. I don't know why I would. So instead of promise, let's see, where is my there we go. So I'm going to type in the word design, but I want to choose a different font. I want to choose one called Color Play. This is a newer font built into Word Art and Stitches, and I used it for the word design. Now, make sure I spell that right, and click apply. Now that's way too big, right? And it's horizontal. If I click on this little pink node, I can rotate that to make it the right direction. And then I'm just going to bring it out here because I need to really resize it. But I want to click again on where it says, that's not promise. Let's see. See where it says promise over here. There we go. There's promise. And I'm going to delete it. Now I'm going to make this much smaller. Now I chose this font because I want to use a variegated thread, and I can do that in Word Art and Stitches because, again, if I come into my palettes, my exquisite medley thread collection is in there. That's Dime's variegated thread, and I can choose and look at any of these that I like and audition them. Now I know I used the pretty sunset color, and whoops, let's highlight this again, and then right click on our new one, and now I can see what that's going to look like stitched out in my variegated thread. Isn't that fun? Now I know I want to get rid of this piece right here, and I want to type in the word thread there. Oops. There we go. And when I apply it, nothing happened, right? That's because I've chosen a monogram that's only in capital letters, and this is all lowercase letters. So I'm going to click on here, and I'm going to choose a font that has lowercase letters. And how I know that something has lowercase letters is it will show it to me. Let me just find one that I like. Let's see, where's this one? Hobo. See, it has the capital and the lowercase. And then when I do that over here and I put my mouse on it, it brings up this box that shows me all the characters that I can do with Hobo. So now I have thread there, but again, that's way too big for what I want. So I'm just going to slide it over to the side, kind of resize it. That's a pretty good size. And I know I did that kind of in a green color, a lime green color. I'm kind of crazy about lime green. I love that color. So I'm going to bring in a different one, and let's choose a lime green. That's kind of pretty. It's avocado green instead of lime. That's okay. There we go. And now the where the wedding date and all is, let's find that on here and highlight it. There we go. I want to type in the word quilting, but I need to get rid of this first by clicking delete. Golly, my computer is really slow today. Let's click delete. There we go. And now I want to click my text button again, and I want to come in here and click in my workspace. Come on. There we go. And I'm not going to use Hobo this time. I'm going to use a different font, and I know which one I want to use. I want to use this one called Mandevilla. And I want to type in the word here, quilting. Now, this is really big. See how it tells me right here that this comes in at 3 inches? Well, I know I don't want that word to come in at 3 inches, so I can change that right now. I know that I want it to come in at about maybe 3/4. So I just type that in. It comes in. I'm going to get all of this on the screen. Just say to fit. There we go. And I'm going to set it and bring it right in here. And I don't care that it's overlapping this stuff at the moment because I'm going to actually get rid of that. And here I know I used this beautiful color that I love so much, that 904. There we go. Now I'm going to get rid of this Mr. and Mrs. and the little and sign behind it. And I even get rid of that little heart there. And I got rid of that. So I'm just kind of, I'm clicking everything there to kind of get all of that. I'll go back into my view here in a moment. And I left that heart there. Let's just delete and get rid of as much as I can there. Now let me just finish getting rid of the rest of this. Since I didn't find it over here, I'm just getting rid of it piece by piece. And you can do that too. It's easy. There's no right or wrong there. There we go. Now it's all gone. Now I want to keep this little heart. So let's find that over here. There we go. There's my heart. But I'm going to slide it out here a little bit. There we go. Because in here, I want to put another little fill stitch design. I want to put these little spools of thread that I have. Now that's a pretty good size for there, so I'm not going to change it. But I also want a needle in here, so I'm going to make this a tiny bit bigger. I'm just going to, there we go. Yeah, I like that. Now I'm going to come in here and choose my needle and bring it in so it looks like it's in the thread. Now you can actually come in here and ungroup right over here. See the needle and thread and the spools are grouped. I could ungroup those by highlighting and clicking ungroup. And then I can even change the background and foreground colors of my thread, which I actually did, just like we've been changing the others. So I'm going to put that there. Now I want another word here. I'm actually going to slide this over just a wee bit, because I want to put the word stitch here. So I'm going to come back into my text, click on my workspace, and I'm going to choose another font. Let's see. I think I want one. It's called Kaufman. Let's see. Kaufman. There we go. There it is. And I'm going to click OK. Now, this is a smaller font, so I'm not going to resize it at the moment. I can resize it after I see what it looks like. And I'm going to type in the word stitch. There we go, and click apply. You get the hang of what I'm doing now, right? So I'm going to click set. That's actually not much too big. I'm just going to make it a wee bit smaller. And I'm actually going to take this and rotate it a little bit so it's a little more diagonal. And then I'm going to slide it in right over here. Now it's still not quite the way I want, but I can continue to rotate that. There, I need to make it a wee bit smaller. And there we go. Now, I don't want it that color. I did mine in a really pretty dark green. There we go. And now the XOXOXO here and the I do forever, all of that I want to get rid of. So let's start highlighting a few things over here. I know that I want to highlight that XO and delete it. I want to highlight the next XO and delete it, and the next one and delete it. I'm doing these singly because I think it's easier for you folks to see them. But again, I could hold down my control key and highlight as many of them as I wanted to get rid of. Now I'm going to highlight the I do, and I'm going to highlight that O in the O of the I do, and I believe that's my word forever. There we go. Delete, gone, bye-bye. And I'm going to delete these three little dots right here. So let's find those real quick. There we go. Get rid of those because now I have the word love up here. And let's go back and find that one. There it is. And I like that word the way it is. I like the font. I like everything about it. So I'm just now going to drag it down here and make it a little bit bigger. And I'm going to make that into a really beautiful, deep kind of a, oh, actually that color came up that I like. So I'm just going to use that color. That'll be pretty. There we go. Now I want to put something here and here, and I want to show you how you can use the designs that are built in. So I chose a little smiley face because embroidery, quilting, stitching, all of this makes me very happy. So I thought, why not put a smiley face on there and let people know this is what makes me happy when I'm in my room working away. So I know we have one in here. I'm just kind of going slowly so you can kind of see the designs that are in here. You could choose any of these if the idea of putting a lightning bolt, because you're maybe a speed stitcher, put that lightning bolt in there. That would be just fine. And now I'm going to highlight that and click OK. And it'll bring it in, and I'm going to bring it right in here. There we go. There we go. Now I have a little space right here as well. And on mine originally, I brought in a little flower design, but I actually thought today I found this one. I bring in the little pin cushion because it was a little bit more appropriate to the subject. The flowers kind of represented things you could stitch when I was originally making it. And there we go. Now I want to bring all this in to fit. There we go. Now I have changed everything that I want to change in here. I could continue to change colors. What I did when I stitched these little dots out, I again actually used some variegated thread, but I don't need to show that in my work right here. But I have got this now exactly how I want it. So all I have to do is come up to the top of my piece. Come on. There we go. And click all items, and it's going to highlight everything for me. And I'm going to come right here and group this time. Now it's all one particular grouping. And again, I come over to File, Save As. I save it. Wherever I want to save it, I give it a name. I would maybe call this one Sub Art Stitching or Sub Art Embroidery. And then I click the drop-down box to find my format and click Save. And then I have my design. And wasn't that fun and easy? So you made something that looks like this from something originally that looked like this. How fun was that? So folks, if you have Word Art and Stitches, or you decide to purchase Word Art and Stitches, you're going to get this Subway art available to you. It's built into the software. You're going to love playing with it. And you could do something like this, making a design your own for anything. Maybe you have a granddaughter or a little niece or a little nephew, and you want to make a little piece of Subway art specific to them and the things that they like. Maybe you want to do one to represent like certain years, certain birthdays, their fifth birth, their first, their fifth, their 10th, things like that. You could even make this like a really cool, groovy kind of a look for an older teenager or something too. And this is also the kind of project that if you have a child, with your supervision, you could sit down and work on these together. Let them help you find colors that they like. Let them tell you what words they want to put in it. Great way to spend a little bit of time in an afternoon with a young person. So now I want us to go back under my camera. Here again is the one that I made. And you can see I put that little flower in there. If I redid this, since I found that pin cushion, I would have put that pin cushion in there. Here I used also the variegated thread. That's how design stitched out with that variegated thread. Here's love in the purple that I had moved down. It had been up here. I moved it down to here. Here's my word quilting in my favorite color. I had ungrouped my thread and changed these thread colors. And there is my metallic for the XOXO. So super fun to do. Now I want to give you some tips and tricks on stabilizer and things like that, because we've talked about thread. And I also want to talk to you about these little banners. Aren't they cute? So I've shown you this white one. I showed you the black one that I did for Nick and Amy. And they also come in just kind of a regular beige canvas. I found all of these right on Amazon. And they're really easy to work with because these pieces on the side just slide off, and then you can slide the pole out so that while you're working on the project, you're not having to deal with any of that. You've got your piece hooped nice and flat now and don't have to worry about that. But I want to show you, you can also use another thing. If you don't like the idea of the pole and the hanger, the rope hanger, you can use something else too. But let me bring in this little beige one because I want to talk to you about hooping. If you decide to use one of these little banners, I've become a little bit obsessed with them. I love them. So what I did is I need to find the center of my stitching field. So I did the old trick where I turned it over and I folded it in half vertically and made myself a crease there with my iron. Then I take the point, which is down here, and I fold it up following that crease line to right underneath the hem for the pocket. You don't want to use the hem itself as part of your calculation. So just bring that right to that point, fold it, give it a good press, and then now you know exactly where your center is of this field. You might want to adjust your piece up a little bit because maybe you don't want so much of it down here in this area. That's kind of what I did here. I found there was my center, but I bumped it up about 1/2 inch because I wanted to leave this part blank. So while you're doing your marking, once you've done this marking, if you'd like, so I didn't want anything below this area right here. So fold it up again right to there, and then give yourself a seam, a press there as well. And then you'll know you don't want anything below that. So now you know right there, bring that point up now, and maybe use a pin in there. Let's see, I don't have one handy. Use a pin in there to help you get it up there, and then press that, and then you'll have a new center space. So you'll know your field now is from here to here and side to side. So that moved your center space up a little bit. And then what I did is I came right halfway in between those two lines to find mine. So that's how easy it is to do that. Now, what kind of stabilizer did I use? I used a a fusible sew and wash, a no-show mesh sew and wash. And I did it on the whole back of my banner. And then when I was done, I just cut around it. Because remember, this is always going to hang. There, now you can read it. This is always going to hang on a wall or on a door where you're not going to see the back. So I just peeled it away and then trimmed around it. Okay, and now I used my magnetic snap hoop monster. You can use that. You can use a traditional frame. If you have a dime sticky hoop, you could use a sticky hoop with this too. If you use a sticky hoop, because this is going to be stuck right to it, I would use the sticky back tearaway that comes with it. That would be a good stabilizer to use for this project as well. One more thing I wanted to show you though for these little banners. They come, of course, they all come, like this is the little stick and rope assembly that comes with this one, but I took it out because I know some of you have probably seen these little wire hanger things, right? You've seen these. There's all kinds of them out there. You can find them at craft shops. Some sewing shops have them. You can find them online. But this one now, I wouldn't put this one that says embroidery on one that says welcome, but these top parts, these sayings and all, you can get them to say all kinds of things or just be little designs. They fit beautifully on those things. So you could actually hang that off of one of those as well. So those are some tips and tricks on that I hope really helped you all. Now let's get rid of that, bring me back in. So folks, I hope that really helped you with subway art. It's really easy. And my biggest tip to you on subway art, get in there and play. Ungroup your project and then just get in there and play around if you want. Now, what I showed you today was using a template and making it your own. But you saw kind of what I did. You could just go in there and type in words in different fonts and all, and then just start rotating and manipulating them and make your own without a template if you wanted to. But I just found it was really easy and quick to use the template and fix that right up. So I hope that you all find that helpful. Again, if you like this video or any of my other videos, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and share with your stitching friends. I would really appreciate it. And as I tell you all, when we close, to go sew life beautiful. I know you will. I know you all are so artistic and so creative. If you would like to post pictures of what you do, put a little hashtag #sewincommon. And then that way, when I type that in, I can see like all of the beautiful things and all you've made. I'd love to see them. So until next time, everybody, go sew life beautiful, and bye for now.